Oh, hello Tony, what are you doing here?
Hello, I'm currently doing a telephone installation for my customer.
Oh wow, it looks very confusing. How do you know what line's yours?
Oh, that's a good question, Rob. What we do, because we don't have an office, we work off our iPhone here. Just switch it on. What we do when we first wake up, we type in a specific code in for our VPN token here, which is unique to us. And this allows us to gain access to Openreach's intranet, which allows us to open up my jobs. I cannot open it now because it has confidential information in it, which obviously we cannot have on video. But this, when we log on in the morning, it will then give us a day's worth of jobs, and then it's for us to manage ourselves what jobs we should attend first, because each job has different appointments and which takes priority. That's for us to decide that.
Oh, I see, so there's quite a lot of freedom. So obviously you work by yourself, what's that like?
It's quite good actually, but there is times when you might not feel too safe, and in times like that there's many procedures in place that we can do. For example, one of them is we can raise a safety assist, so another man or an engineer will come on site to help assist us with anything we need. And also there's applications which, for example, if you set a timer, if you don't turn the timer off before it expires, then control get notified and they'll contact you. And then if you don't answer, it gets forwarded to your manager and the correct procedures get taken in to make sure we are safe.
Ah, I see, that's good then. So I've heard telephone lines can be miles long. How do you know the route of your line?
That's a very good question, Rob, and there is many different applications that do to assist us. The best one being Magic Maps, which has only recently been released. I've already pre-selected my job here, as you can see. As I just click here to go, it selects my route, and let me just zoom out. If you can see there, that the red line, that shows exactly where my line goes. The blue part there, that shows you where the exchange is, and you follow the red line across. I'll zoom in a bit there. And you can see this green icon here shows the PCP, which is what we're at now, and further up the line showed the green icon there is the distribution point, and that is where the customer is. So if there is a point in the line that's broken, for example here, it comes up a little pop-up telling you exact distance of where you got to go. So it's very handy for a long line.
Ah, I see. So who maintains our lines?
It's everyone's responsibility to maintain lines, Robert, as even from a senior manager to a manager to a field engineer. But there is applications also on our phone that we can use to help raise defects and notify the appropriate people to fix them. For example, there's one here called A1024 app, which is basically notify of a defect. Once you open this app and fill in the details, it asks you some simple questions. So for example, this cabinet might need fixing, and then that will be put off in the queue and it will be fixed eventually in time.
Oh, I see. Would you submit a defect on this cabinet?
It's funny you should ask that, because I actually would. If you can see here on the door, you can see that the hinge here is rusted and completely broken. So that would be a primary reason to raise an A1024, because that's a safety hazard.
Oh, I see. So I've noticed a bit of kit down there. What does that do?
That is a JDSU, which is our handheld tester. This piece of marvellous kit is very handy, and if it wasn't for this, our job would be impossible. This can do many things, from identifying in a 3-mile line. It could tell you a tiny little nick in the line that's putting a fault on the line, exactly where it is. It can tell you the distance a line reaches until it disconnects on either one leg or both legs. It can tell if there's voltage on the line, and it's also the kit we use to do a pair quality test, which is something we do at the end of every single job we do, and it tells us if the line is good enough for broadband and a phone line without causing no faults on the line. And also, it can also double as a modem, so it can tell you the exact speed you're getting on anyone's line just by connecting to their copper wire.
Well, that's very interesting. So if you was installing a new line and your line wasn't routed, how would you find it in this cabinet?
That is something that we get asked by a lot of passerby by pedestrians, which is pretty funny actually, because what we use is this. It's called an oscillator, and as you can see the flashing light, each flash indicates a beep. And this here is the paired device, which is an amplifier. Once you turn this on, you can hear that it's doing a high-pitched tone. This will be placed at the customer's house on my copper wire, and it will come up in this cab. And I'll just go around and wait for the bus to pass, and I could hear that my line's here. So then what I'll do is this one here. I'd plant this in, and you can hear that it's coming through, and you can hear that it shorts out. What it means when it shorts out is that the line is good and there's no disconnections. If the line didn't short out, it means one of the legs are broken and it can't be used.
Ah, okay. I've noticed there's green and blue blocks within this cabinet. What do they mean?
Oh, I'm glad you asked that. What the green side means is this is our E side. This is known as the exchange. All these copper wires go back to the beginning of the line, and that's where our phone line and broadband gets picked up. Copper broadband, mind you. And the blue side is the D side, which is the distribution side. All these copper wires go towards the customers' houses, residential and business areas. And as you can see, if you can make that the little cables, the copper wires on the top there, each pair of those provides one house with a phone line and broadband.
Oh, I see. So once you've connected your line in this cabinet, what would you do next?
After that, I'd close up the cabinet, make sure it's all safe, and then I'll go to the customer's premises, and I'll connect it to their telephone line and build a socket wherever they wish, do internal or external wiring if they need it, and basically have to just speak to the customer and do whatever they wish to be done.
Great. Thanks for that, Tony. Thanks for the useful insight.
Thank you.